Let me hit the button here. Okay. Hi, guys. Good afternoon. Usually I do these in the evening. But today I'm inspired. I was having a conversation with an individual and it just became really clear to me, this is a great topic because often we don't talk about the impact that trauma and neglect have on what's called our love map. So let me scroll down here. Okay. So because I want to make sure I can see you guys. I just have to make sure it's working. All right, good. So the love map is a very simple thing, and it's not something explicit in our minds. It's the experience we have about being loved and nurtured and cared that's imprinted into us or encoded into us when we are an infant and we move into being a toddler. So between the ages of 0 and 7, that love map takes on a concrete form within us. This is actually more of a somatized or felt experience in our bodies, okay? So if we're really attracted to narcissistic people, or we're attracted to unavailable people, or we have a tendency to fawn and use that to please people and things like that, this is something we learned early on about love. This is how we got love. This is how we got attention. This is how we got connection. It's how we got our needs met. Okay, and that's fundamentally what codependency is. It is how we get our needs met, right? It's the survival strategy our brilliance created in us to navigate love starvation. Well, that love starvation is the cause of this love map that we're dealing with. So to heal this, because this is trauma, guys. When we aren't adequately loved, whether it's through neglect or overt abuse or verbal abuse, emotional abuse, chronic neglect or abandonment, they're not paying attention to us, isolation, lack of engagement, lack of physical touch, verbal affirmation, quality time, gifts, acts of service, the love language is there. When we're dealing with that kind of trauma, it's somatized into us at a very natural level, so we think it's normal. And this is why it's so hard at first for us to see past what's really happening and trust that there is something different, because we don't have a relationship to what's really happening, right? We don't have a relationship to what could really be possible for us because we've never experienced it. And we don't really understand that what we've been through is abnormal, okay? And I want you to hear that again. It is abnormal to be neglected. It is abnormal to be abused. It's abnormal to be verbally attacked. It's abnormal to be ignored. It is abnormal to be used, okay? Real love doesn't do these things. People who are emotionally healthy and available care about how we feel. That's one of the first principles of healthy relationships, is the people involved in the relationship care about each other in the way that they care about how the other person feels, not what they feel or think about them, but how they feel in general. I care about how you think. I care about what's going on for you. I care about what you're experiencing. Okay, it's not I care about how you think about me. We do to an extent, and in primary relationships, we're going to be concerned with that because we want to know how we're accepted and where we belong in our life. But generally, that is a secondary concern, not to create value in us, but more or less to help us understand if we're in a healthy relationship or relationship we want to stay in. Okay, all right. So we have our love map. This is encoded into us between the ages of 0 and 7, largely in the first 18 to 36 months. That's when we really get it somatized into our body. And there's a very, very important reason why, and this is really the big thing when it comes to trauma. There's a mode in the brain called implicit mode, okay? And implicit mode is triggered in 2 states. One, when you don't have a hippocampus active, the brain's just going to encode its experience as sensory. So it's going to feel things, it's going to go through experiences, fuzzy images, things like that. The second mode is when you get triggered into trauma. Because when the brain moves from a relaxed, open, creative state where the prefrontal cortex is engaged and the amygdala says, hey, whoa, we're in danger, what it does is it diverts blood and energy to the limbic system, and then the memory circuits switch modes. They go from what's explicit mode to implicit mode. And implicit says, I'm just going to go through this sensory experience. This is why trauma is foggy. This is why it's hard to recall exact details. Timing where you were, how old you were, when it happened, because those are explicit details that would be written into your memory through what's called explicit memory mode, but because the brain's mode is switched into implicit mode, it's just encoded somatically. Well, the love map is also somatically encoded, okay? So here's where the relationship happens with trauma. If our love map is traumatic, then the only way we can rewrite that love map is to rewrite it by resolving the trauma. Okay, that's one of the big focuses of trauma release is reorganizing or reconstructing our relationship with love itself. That's ultimately the goal. Can I be loved for who I am, be kept for who I am? A couple of days ago, I had a client reach out to me, and she was in a lot of distress. It was a very intense experience for this person, and they were wondering if they could be kept. They felt like if someone loved them, they would be a burden. It cost other people to love them. That's a huge burden. I imagine you might relate to that, because I certainly did. I took her through the closure technique, and then boom, it's gone. Now she's sitting in basically confidence, peace, expansion, strength. The word that was used was, I feel strong in being me. That's because we wrote that portion of her love map to make it safe to be loved, okay? To be kept, to be known, because it doesn't cause anybody any trouble. Real people with real love for us want to keep us. They like us for who we are. It doesn't cost them anything to be with us. They find it as a privilege to be with us, just as we find it to be a privilege them, okay? So if you have this pattern of picking up narcissistic or unavailable people in your life, your love map is what's causing that, and we need to rewrite that. And we rewrite that by, one, resolving the trauma that's involved in there, and two, recoding into ourselves real love as our governing factor. And then we create solid, healthy connection both with ourselves and others, and then we take control of our happiness so that we're individualized. We don't need somebody else to make us whole. This is what Get Closure Now is all about, because with Get Closure Now, you get your membership to the Codependency Confidence Self-Guided trainings that I've created for you, and to accomplish those 4 steps. And that will leave you, or you basically, you leave the system going, wow, I know who I am. I know what I want. I know how to get it. I know how to keep myself. I have control of my happiness. I have control of love again. I have control of my confidence. I can have the life I want. And then you can create it. That's the goal here, guys, okay? So if these are the kind of results you want, you need to make a decision. Number one, you can apply for the Get Closure Now 6-week course that launches on June 3rd. You just go up to the link in the description and apply for it. There's only 20 seats. Currently 19 are available because we're just starting this launch. They will go quickly. If money is a concern, let me know, because I have income bracket. I have this pricing system called income aware pricing. So I can get you into the system based on what you make, so it's affordable for you. So don't let income get in the way. Number two, if you're ready to go for the self-guided approach, you want to just dive in there and make some real change real quick, then get your membership to Codependency Confidence. I'll add the link in the description for that too. You have 2 options. Well, technically I have 3 options with Codependency Confidence. You can go for the monthly membership, or you can go with a yearly membership. And then sometimes I offer the lifetime membership, and maybe that will become available. It depends on what the system is set up to do, and I don't remember what it's set up to do right now. So that's where you start, though. You want healing. You want to take your life back. You want that happiness back. You want to be free of your love addiction. You want to be free of that trauma. Then start with Get Closure Now. But if you want to be free of your codependency, start with Codependency Confidence. And then you can do Get Closure Now in the future. Whatever works for you. Look for what really resonates, grabs you, speaks to you, and go with that. Because that's the whole point here, right? But I highly recommend getting Get Closure Now, so that you get both the closure and the trauma work, and you get Codependency Confidence. You get the whole system. You can break free quickly. So I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you supporting each other the way you do here in our community, both here in Facebook or here in YouTube. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for allowing me to contribute to your world. Let me letting me contribute what I've discovered in my own healing from trauma, from narcissistic abuse, from codependency. Because I'm not some coach that went to coach school and then decided, hey, I'll teach on this. I while I mentored, I had 2 apprenticeships that I went through to teach me how to be an effective mentor and how to heal. All this stuff is very personal to me because I've gone through it myself. And so the journey of my journey is laced through the tools and through the trainings that I give you, and that the experiences I've had have helped shape this. And that's part of what's made it so effective for the students and clients that have taken these things. So I appreciate you again. Remember, you're worth knowing, loving, and keeping. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's live Q&A. You guys have a great evening. Bye-bye.